Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio. Ours is a place where dreams take flight, voices are heard, and stories are shared. This is where cultures meet, connections are formed, and ideas are transformed into action. This is your destination for authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives, and meaningful conversations. We're where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover our world of education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our USA Global TV channel and download our USA Global TV app. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. With heartfelt thanks to our executive producer, Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck, music scored by Yifei Tang from Cloud Road Music, creative direction by Paul Garcia, and I'm Al Cini, and I'm very proud to be part of the USA Global TV and Radio family. So join us here at USA Global TV and Radio. Make us your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication, or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited. Thank you for being a part of our global community. Let's inspire together.
Hello and welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where we provide world-class education, entertainment, hope and inspiration. Our show today is a woman's prerogative in partnership with E360 TV. Our topic today, triggered by changes when expectations collide with reality. I'm Caroline Heward. I'm absolutely thrilled and honoured to be representing Dr. Jacqueline as your host for USA Global TV and Radio's flagship show, A Woman's Prerogative. I'm a TV presenter on the channel and the resident therapist for USA Global TV and Radio. An extremely warm welcome to all our loyal viewers and our viewers and friends from E360 TV. Hello to all of our friends on our usual social media platforms, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and X. Dr. Jacqueline, our wonderful founder, president, and extraordinarily visionary leader, she is the recipient of the coveted Silver Creator Award, achieving over 100,000 YouTube subscribers. In fact, it's over 106,000 YouTube subscribers on the first channel, the channel that got the award, and we have over almost 37,000 YouTube subscribers on the second channel. A very hearty thank you to all of our subscribers. We have a wonderful panelist, a full-time panelist that's joining me on this show as our usual full-time panelist, all the way from Canada, Reverend Lydia Fougeres. She is a TV presenter and has her own show in French once a month, I think it is. She will correct me on that if I'm wrong. She is also an author of bilingual self-help books. She's a registered nurse and a holistic nurse. She's an intuitive and spiritual healer. And she invented Miracle Mist, which is sold on Etsy, which is patent pending. And she's an advocate for free rights. Let's welcome our wonderful full-time panelist, Reverend Lydia Fougeres, all the way from Canada. Hello.
Hello. Nice to be here.
A warm welcome to you, Reverend Lydia. Please do share with our viewers a little bit about what you do and how you help people.
Well, what I do is that, I'm a reverend, so I celebrate weddings and funerals also, actually. So I do that also. I have programs that have to do with my books that are called 111 Reflection for Thy Earth Odyssey, where I am a spiritual teacher. I help people in their personal transformation, introspection, mindfulness, and bring them in a compassionate journey. I invite my readers to actually transform and engage their lives in a different way when they have no clarity, and they have to find a sense of sacred connection with others. I help with the Miracle Mist, which is a mist that actually can chase ghost entities, according to others, because I sent it in universities for studies. and actually to cleanse sacred spaces. So very good for witches, by the way. And that is it. And I am country manager for USA Global TV and Radio. So if someone wants to have a show, host a show, or be a guest on a show on here on this wonderful channel, they can reach me, and I will make a pleasure of putting them in touch with our wonderful Dr. Jacqueline. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Reverend Lydia. Always a pleasure to have you on the channel on this show. Thank you very much. And for me, I'm known as the Harley Street Stress Expert, and I help people bust their stress. How do I do that? I work with root cause therapy and chakra psychology, how the mind and body connects and what happens to the person physically, emotionally, mentally, behaviorally when there's an imbalance. And the imbalance is the symptom, or more importantly, what they're complaining about. So if they're complaining about a physical ache and pain, or a relationship that's not working, or they're complaining about a situation, that is how the stress is manifesting in their life. I've also been a licensed practitioner in Harley Street for 17 years and been doing this work for over 2 decades. I began doing the stress management work in 2000. I also do lunch and learn events. I'm a speaker and I work both online and offline. And a little bit of news, I was a finalist for an award finalist for Kern Cherry's International Power Up Awards, Power Up Living Legend Awards for the top women over 50 years old. I didn't win. I feel that it was the fact that I became a finalist out of many people, and that makes me very proud and also quite humbled because I hadn't met this lady and I was nominated. So that feels good for me in terms of being recognised by external people that don't know me. So let's get into the topic. Triggered by change, when expectations collide with reality. Have you ever noticed how small changes can trigger a big emotion? Do you find it easy to go with the flow, or do you really get triggered by last minute changes? When reality doesn't quite meet our expectations, emotions can spiral fast. We're going to be exploring tonight the hidden need for control when there is change, and the emotional traps of perfectionism, and the art of letting go when the world rewrites our script. I considered this title when lots of things changed for me. I was planning a trip and I'd got all of my tickets in order and organised lunch, and there was an announcement when I checked with our National Rail Inquiries that they said there's no such trains. That train journey does not exist. I said, what do you mean it doesn't exist? Don't be so silly. I've got a ticket for it here. No, it doesn't exist. Well, I won't share right now how I felt, but I was absolutely up in arms and had a big job to control myself. So why do people take last minute changes and cancellations personally? What are your thoughts on this, Reverend Lydia?
We take things personally because the thing is that we have plans, we have schedules, we have timelines. So it is normal that sometimes we get absorbed by what we have to do. If things change continually when we have a timeline, well, it is absolutely, it is devastating sometimes when we have something that is planned and everything is shattered. So I understand what you went through, because for me, I was supposed to have my books being published, and everything was supposed to be on the market, and everything was supposed to work. And my publisher is, I don't know, he seems to be sleeping. So the thing is that I understand when we plan something and it does not happen, we can be sometimes devastated, unhappy, but at the same time, we can reschedule and plan differently. So it gives us an occasion to grow.
Thank you, Reverend Lydia. Some wise words there and some wise shares. But I will give you a little bit more about what happened. It was extraordinary when I was told there's no such train. Now, my normal behaviour is to call National Rail Inquiries to check that the trains are running and everything's okay, because there's all sorts of challenges and that's just the world we live in. And I usually check around 10 p.m. as the earliest, and sometimes midnight and sometimes 2 in the morning when I've got everything ready and I'm going to get up at 4 in the morning to prepare to go at about 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. So I usually do it very last minute. For some unknown reason, I decided when I booked the table and I booked my onward journey, when I got into the local area, I decided, well, while I'm at it, I may as well call just to check that the trains are okay. And luckily, I was happy that I did, because they didn't have a clue. And they passed me on to the company that I'd made the booking with. They didn't have a clue what was going on. And they said that I can't do the journey. And they passed me on to the train operator. And it was a 2.5-hour nightmare. I held myself together because I kept thinking, it's going to be all right. You know, there's something, because nobody was telling me why. But then I got, when I spoke to the train operator, why. There'd been industrial action which was cancelled the day before, so cancelled on the Thursday. And they couldn't and didn't have time to reschedule the train. So they weren't on strike, but the trains weren't running. And the journey that I wanted to do wasn't possible to get there and to get back within the time. I was absolutely distraught. I was really emotionally disabled when I got the news. I said, well, how does this work? What about customer service? Now, Reverend Lydia, I sound like I was being a real moany minnie, but I couldn't believe that I had the foresight to call much, much earlier ahead of the time that I normally would. And sometimes I'm very brazen and just arrive at the station on the morning, you know, hoping that everything's okay if I've run out of time. But this time I just had the foresight to check. But I wasn't in control of my emotions. I really wasn't. I was absolutely devastated because everything was planned. There was a lunch that was organised, a table booked, and it took me 3 hours to find out what was wrong and undo everything and get refunds for everything. And it took me out of that short call of, oh, the trains are okay. So what would you suggest I could have done? Because I really was emotionally distraught, because it ruined my plans and a family member's plans as well.
Well, usually we try not to call when we are in the call, okay, to start with. We have to understand that we are not angry at anyone. So we just hold back on our emotions, and we have to tell those that talk to us, I am not angry at you. I am upset with the situation. It's not your company. So sometimes when I actually have something that is not pleasing to me, I have to call when things are not going my way. I have to call, and I always remind customer service, we will get through this because this is not your company. This is not your personal problem. This is a
Hello, I
problem
think we've lost Reverend
that
Lydia
we
for a moment. Is she back?
can pull through.
I think we've got some internet connections in Canada, so let's just see when she comes back. But my feeling on this, and thank you so much for sharing your insights and understanding about my situation, because we do get into these situations and it's beyond our control. And what it is the brain decides, it creates like this mental script, and it has all the emotions attached to it. And there's a discomfort in the emotions when the script gets disrupted. And the gap between emotion in terms of the emotion, expectation, and reality is where it's the place where anger and sadness reside and live. And so, in essence, everybody was great. And I did use the term, I cannot believe I'm in this situation because the trains always run. I've never had this happen to me before. What do I do? How do I get there? Is it possible? Tell me what trains that I can get. And so I did try to find another way. There wasn't any other way. It wasn't possible. And because it wasn't possible, I lost it and I got very tearful and quite emotional because the tickets that I had booked in good faith, I didn't even get any notification. And so what is happening psychologically when plans fall apart? When we plan, it creates a safety net. It gives us stability. And many of us need that place of stability and control. Are you back, Reverend Lydia?
Yes,
Great.
I do not know what happened.
That's okay. That's the internet of things. That's what it comes in and out. That's just the waves. Welcome back. I was actually just sharing the fact that I did speak to all these different people and say it was the situation that was difficult. That, you know, and I didn't know until the last person I called what the problem was, why nobody could see the journey that I had booked. That the need for control and safety, I believe, is one of the reasons that when things fall apart, it is an emotional time, or it's where we lose control. We lose the ability to, we've got something in place and we lose the control and the ability. So, and usually it can come from past experiences of something that's happened that's been difficult. So if disappointment comes about in terms of a situation, what about what meaning we attach to it? So for me, I lost the opportunity. I couldn't travel that day and I couldn't do the things that I wanted to do. And that wasn't just about me, that was about the plans I'd arranged to spend time with a family member. And so there was disappointment in different areas. And the fact that I'd got this ticket that wasn't usable. Disappointment. It's an interesting thing to explore because when we set ourselves up and disappointment comes in because it didn't happen. Have you ever had an experience, Reverend Lydia, where you've set yourself up, you've got all the things in motion, you've got your plans in action, you've paid all the different people, and you're ready, you're on your marks, get set, and then right at the last minute, it doesn't happen. And I couldn't believe when I was told there's no such journey, there's no such trains. You can't do that journey. So what are your thoughts about disappointment? Because it's a common feeling and experience in our humanness.
Yes, I went through such thing. I was a speaker at an event, and there was a terrible storm, and there was supposed to be like between 350 and 500 people. And there were 20 people that showed up for the event. So everything was booked, everything was done right. It was in such a beautiful hall. And I just could not believe it. I was thinking to myself, I have prepared for a month for that event. And here I was doing the event for 20 people. But after the event, I thought to myself, the message was for 20 people only. That was what came to me. I decided that, it was for 20 people only and not 300. And I decided that the 20 people that were there were the right ones. So I made of the event a successful event in my mind because I told myself 280 people were not supposed to hear that message. So to me, that was enough. So I decided to challenge myself to see a better way of seeing the situation. And after that, I still planned events, I still planned things, and that was fine.
Thank you so
And
much,
I
Reverend
really,
Lydia. Thank you so much, Reverend Lydia. I love it. We're just about to go into our break, and you've ended our first part on an incredible reframe. It doesn't matter how many, it's the right people in the room. I absolutely love it. Many speakers have these kinds of problems. They're made aware before an event that there's going to be 200, 300, 1,000 people, and then the room doesn't fill. And it's a human thing to be disappointed, to think, I was going to be speaking to this large group of people and they're not all there. And there is a disappointment when you're staring out into the empty spaces and empty chairs. But that's a beautiful reframe. And I know many large public speakers that have huge followings that can be let down because of weather, because of transport, because of situations that are beyond their control. So whether it's 20 people or 300 people, it's about the right people in the room. I love it. Thank you very much, Reverend Lydia. Absolutely brilliant. What we call in my trade as being a therapist, a brilliant reframe. And with that, we're just about to go over to our commercial break. Please do come back and join us for more reframes and also more ways that you can be challenged and what we have to share to move you out of that challenge and disappointment. We look forward to seeing you very soon.
Every woman carries a story of strength, of purpose, of light. Through her courage, the world is transformed. Through her grace, generations are inspired. This is Iconic Women. Within Every Woman Lives a Goddess, a celebration of brilliance, beauty, and empowerment. Join us every Wednesday at 11 a.m. New York, 4 p.m. London time, only here on USA, Global TVR, and radio. Featuring the iconic Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck, honoring voices that shine across the world. Subscribe to our YouTube channels, USA Global TV and Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck, to watch and engage with all our content. World-class education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration.
Hello and welcome back to A Woman's Prerogative in partnership with E360 TV. We have been exploring my full-time panelist, Reverend Lydia Fougeres from Canada, all the way from Canada, triggered by changes when expectations collide with reality. We've just had an incredible reframe from the wonderful Reverend Lydia, and we've been exploring disappointment. If you missed either on the live or the replay, please do track back our first part just before the commercial break. Let's bring out Reverend Lydia and continue our conversation. Hello, Reverend Lydia, and welcome back. I want to explore perfectionism. When somebody is a perfectionist, and there are many of us, and I'm one of them, there are many of us that are successful in terms of their careers. And when you're a perfectionist, you plan everything to the last detail and you get it just so. Have you ever had the experience where everything is just like you left everything so it was perfect, and then it didn't work out the way you expected? Somebody didn't pick it up where you were expecting them to, and it fell short of your expectations. Have you ever had that experience, and how has that affected you?
Well, yes, I am a perfectionist also, so it is difficult for me. And I have a spouse that is a perfectionist also. So together we are quite a team because everything has to be perfect all the time. So the thing is that, we have to live with the fact that we cannot have a beautiful life with everything perfect. We cannot do that. Things cannot be perfect. So we have to understand that things, even if they are not perfect, we can do our best and be satisfied with our best. And if we are satisfied with our best and we do not always aim for perfection, our life will be happier. Because if we always aim for perfection, we are sure not to be happy in our life. So we have to be good to ourselves, us who are perfectionists, all of us, because you, myself, Dr. Jacqueline, we are all perfectionists. And the thing is that we want everything to run smoothly and we want everyone to be happy. But the thing is that it cannot always be done. But we have to be good to ourselves, not only good to others. That is the way it has to be.
Thank you so much, Reverend Lydia. And I'm thinking about other personality types, like the planners, the ones that are really, really into the compliancy of things and plan everything down to the last detail. I'm a little bit of a big vision person, and then I have the big vision and then go down into the detail. But I start with what I want it to look like, and then I go down into the detail. Some people are free spirits, and when there's an unexpected change, they just go, oh, never mind, it's okay. And they're really, really easy and go with the flow with it. Whereas I would feel quite frustrated and at the same time reluctantly go with the flow. So what are your thoughts about free spirits and planners being together and the fact that they would both respond differently? How would you handle that?
Well, first of all, it is a very difficult match to start with because I know many free spirits and I'm the kind that plans. So I have trouble with people that just arrive and all of a sudden, let's improvise. I do not I do not like improvisation. So the thing is that, for me, it has to be planned and it has to be calculated and things have to be done in a certain way. But I always listen though to the other person's idea. But the fact is that, sometimes people come out and they do something random which sometimes has no common sense. And we have to go with the flow because they are in charge. The random person is in charge. So we have to we have to live with it and we have to follow. So we have to we have to take it with a little bit of humor because if we do not, that is it. That is the way it is.
Thank you, Reverend Lydia. I'm smiling in the background here because living in London for 24 years, I planned everything because there's a lot of walking. And even though London is there's a lot happening, you could go from one end to another end. And I remember being a tourist before I moved there. And I planned in 3 museums and a visit to Buckingham Palace and something else on the same day. And my then soon-to-be future husband said, well, I wish you luck with that one. And I says, oh, yeah, it'd be really good. Well, I landed up spending I think it was 3/4 of the day in the Science Museum and hadn't got any further than 3 floors, and there was more to go. And so he was laughing because I didn't know. And this is one of the things with tourists, particularly, that they don't realize how much walking there is and how much planning. And you can be on a tube going one way, thinking you're on the right line, but actually needing to go in a different direction, which I've done in the past myself. And things take time. You can be traveling for a good half an hour, maybe an hour from one direction to another, and then you can lose time. I've actually walked around with no plans and landed up in a situation where I got to a restaurant and they'd stopped serving. So yeah, plans and somebody that's going with the fair weather approach feels very uncomfortable for me. I'd like to have a little bit of arsenal up my sleeve and recommendations. If I haven't got them, I'll go and find somebody who has got the recommendations for the area. So resilience, it begins when we stop demanding that things go our way. So shifting perspective, this is what we've been sharing with you, shifting the perspective from reacting to resilience and being aware of your emotional triggers. Reverend Lydia, what are your thoughts about becoming aware of your emotional triggers and then being in a place of moving into resilience? I love the fact that you shared the reframe, that this is when you become aware. What are your thoughts in terms of other techniques that people could use to move from being in a reactionary response to being resilient?
Well, I have a Christian response to that all the time. I always ask myself one question, and it goes for everyone, actually. They can choose whatever date they want, but I always ask myself, if that does not work, will I still be at Christmas on the 25th of December? Will things change? Will December 25th be a different date? If my answer is no, well, I overcome the problem. So they can decide whatever Thanksgiving, they can decide whatever date, their daughter's birthday, they can decide whatever. But the thing is that they can choose a date and tell themselves, if that situation going to change that day in my life? If the answer is no, well, they have to gain control over themselves.
Thank you, Reverend Lydia. Some wise words there and some wise insights. One of my things is to just stop, take a breath and pause, because you can't do anything. You're not in control of something going on outside of your control. The only thing that you can control is the way that you react to it. And to finish off my story of the trains and the journeys that I couldn't do and that were not possible, 3 different companies organized refunds for me because I couldn't do the journeys and it didn't work. And I really do believe that the only way that happened, that they were very good about offering the refunds, full refunds at that, is because I said, is there anything? Is there any other way we can do this? Is it possible? And they were doing their best to help in a situation that was beyond their control. We can control ourselves, our emotions, and the things that we are responsible for, but we can't control external environment and external events that change the way that our plans might pan out. So we are at the end of our show. I can't believe that we've got to the end of our show. And there's been reframes, there's been pause, take a break, look at how you're responding, become aware of your responses. Some really wonderful things that we've shared in this show. Reverend Lydia, please do share how people can reach you and a little bit about your miracle mist.
Yes, the miracle, well, people can reach me at 1-514-582-6882 or at greatdivinemother@gmail.com. They can also join me on Instagram, Diva Divine Mother _. they can do that. So they can, that is it. The miracle mist actually is a mist that can be used. It is that. This is to clear spaces, elevate vibrations. They can also, all they have to do is spray it. They just spray it and, here it is. They spray it and it elevates the vibrations in the room. Actually, the vibrations go higher and it cleanses the room. I've worked on that for 10 years. So the thing is that it really does work according to everyone and according to the universities that did studies on them. So there is that. And there is also the perfect incense that I created also, which is to find the perfect partner, the perfect mate. And this also seems to help find the perfect partner for someone. So all they do is that they use a charcoal and they just drop the incense over the charcoal that is lit, and they do not think about anyone, because the thing is that it will attract the person they want. If they really want that person, it will. But the fact is, it's not for the person they want, it is for the perfect person that will come to them. So I would say to take this with caution.
Thank you, Reverend Lydia. And what's the best way for people to reach you, to contact you?
Well, they can contact me, with that. That's it. By calling me on WhatsApp at 1-514-582-6882, or emails. I answer to all my emails. And I do programs with my books, 111 Reflection for Thy Earth Odyssey. Plus, if they want to have their show, they can reach me as country manager for USA Global TV and radio. I will make everything perfect for them to join our wonderful Dr. Jacqueline. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Reverend Lydia. We've had a fantastic show, Reverend Lydia. Thank you so much for all of your amazing insights and awarenesses, and also your inspired responses as to how we can respond when things change, when plans change. For me, I'm known as the Harley Street stress therapist. Sorry, get it out. Stress expert. And you can reach me on No More Stress at live.co.uk. Or you can call me for international +44. If you're local, 07523 120 189. Or you can follow and connect with me on LinkedIn and Facebook. And I look forward to helping you bust your stress. We have been exploring Triggered by Change, when expectations collide with reality. Change is inevitable. Our reaction isn't. Understanding that disappointment and frustration comes from having an expectation. We gain power to respond differently. Flexibility isn't about lowering our standards. It's about learning how, and when life takes a turn, how we didn't plan. Next time, when reality collides with your expectations, pause and ask, what's really being triggered here? And take a moment to step into a place of awareness and turn frustration into freedom. Thank you very much, everybody. Thanks for joining us, whether you're on the live or the replay. It's been an amazing show. We've shared some incredible insights, and we look forward to seeing you next week. Next week for the UK, our clocks go back. So I'll be an hour earlier in the UK. But the following week is the week that the US, New York time, goes back. So I will be here at the earlier time of 6 p.m. GMT, Greenwich Mean Time, and it will be 2 p.m. Eastern Time. We look forward to seeing you next week. Have a wonderful week, and thank you for joining us. Bye-bye for now, and over to our sponsors. Just before I go, a massive thank you to Dr. Jacqueline for the amazing production and whizzy effects behind the scenes, and to our full-time panelist, Reverend Lydia Fougeres. Bye-bye for now, and we'll look forward to seeing you next week.
In a world full of noise, misunderstandings, and interruptions, master the art of listening with Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck is the listening mentor of USA Global TV and Radio and the Amazon #1 best-selling author of Mastering the Power of Elevated Listening. Elevate your listening. Elevate your life. Join a global learning experience in person or via Zoom. Reserve your spot today. usaglobaltv.com/book-your-session or drjacqueline.thinkific.com. Join Dr. Kerbeck's listening courses or hire her to unlock deeper connections and authentic conversations. Thank you, viewers and listeners of USA Global TV and Radio, for joining us today. We're honoured to have your time and attention as part of our global community. At USA Global TV and Radio, we believe in the power of authentic conversations, meaningful connections, and creating a world of possibilities together. Want to be part of something bigger? Join our team of elevated listeners at usaglobaltv.com, a space where your voice matters and your ability to listen transforms relationships. Stay connected with us across all our platforms for thought-provoking discussions, expert insights, and empowering stories. Subscribe to our channels at youtube.com/c/USA Global TV. Follow us on social media and explore the endless opportunities we're creating for growth, learning, and inspiration. Together, we're not just broadcasting, we're building bridges and changing lives one conversation at a time. For inquiries, contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com. Music by Johnny Dyes. Produced by Executive Producer and Director Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Voiceover by Mike Porter. Creative Direction by Paul Garcia. All rights reserved. Copyright 2025. Visit usaglobaltv.com to view our full terms and conditions.